Good morning and welcome to the Chronic Pain Call-In Show. My name is Joseph of Borg. I come to you live each Sunday from Las Vegas, Nevada, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Feel free to call in and talk to me. Area code 725-333-4140. I look forward to taking your call. Good morning and welcome to the Chronic Pain Call-In Show. I am Joseph of Borg, taking your calls, comments, chat every Sunday morning. It's raining out, it's cloudy out, so my pain level is high. So I ask your indulgence. Things should be running pretty smooth. All the errors this morning are going to be my fault and my fault only. Today's topic, and I wanted to tell you about it, is being dragged across the reef. I made a little video clip called Drug Across the Reef, but I found out just recently, in fact yesterday, that that is not proper usage. According to Merriam-Webster, it is a dialect usage in the southern United States to say drug across, but I was informed that drug and drag actually are not related, and the proper form was dragged across the reef. And I was busy changing that this morning and got caught up in some tech stuff, and my pain level is running high. But I want to welcome you and thank you for joining me today. So I want to get to the topic. As many of you know, I run several YouTube channels and Facebook pages of the same name so that people can find me and my information that I try to provide on either format, depending on whether they choose to use YouTube or Facebook. That said, one of my big ventures has been called Surfing the Pain, because that's the way I view managing my chronic pain. Many of us get into the boom bust cycle where you do way too much on a good day and you suffer for it later, maybe have to spend days in bed. It's kind of the economy of pain, if you will. You have to try and estimate what something's going to cost you pain-wise and whether or not it is worth going through that pain to engage in that activity. Sometimes you misjudge it and get drug across the reef, so to speak, or dragged across the reef. I recently went through this and willfully, a lot of us, like I said, we get caught in the boom bust cycle. I try and find that sweet spot where I do as much as I can without paying too high a price. And of course, that varies what that is for each individual and each person, and from day to day, and how badly you want to do something. Um, I recently had a friend of mine in town from Minnesota. For those of you who aren't aware, I do live in Las Vegas. And for those of you who may not know, I used to play poker fairly seriously. I haven't touched a card live in a couple of years. But while my friend was in town, he's also an avid poker player, and I wanted to get together with him, and we decided to go downtown Las Vegas and play a poker tournament. Usually the tournament runs about 3 hours, which is usually pushing my max. This was a little bit bigger stakes tournament because they've got a series of tournaments going on at the Golden Nugget right now. Once I was entered and started playing, I found out it was more likely to run closer to 5 hours, which was more than a little distressing. Fortunately, I had some pain pills with me that I was able to make use of. But here's the thing. Sometimes as chronic pain patients, we will choose to do things at the detriment to the next days or day, depending on the severity, simply because it's important to be engaged in life. If I really want to minimize my pain, I would spend all my time either in bed or physical therapy, and that would pretty much be it. The problem is life is not very fulfilling that way. It's very isolating that way, which is one of the reasons I encourage people to reach out through video and comments and make connections through the internet, because we're blessed with this modern technology to be able to do those kinds of things, because the isolation is literally a killer. I talked about this on recent episodes. Um, it tends to bring on depression. It's just not healthy to not have any social interactions, and not get out of the house once in a while. If you absolutely can't, I understand. But sometimes I think we uh, choose to do this to ourselves. Um, and I think there's power, or at least empowerment, in acknowledging that it's a choice. For example, I went and played the poker tournament. I did quite well. I made the fifth place, so I made a few $100s. Um, but more than anything else, the cost the next day, I was in bed all day. I got up just to eat, microwave some food and eat and use the bathroom. Other than that, I was in bed. And then the second day after the tournament, I was moving around the house more, but I was so focused on, I was just tunnel vision. I didn't notice that the garbage was full because my wife asked me, "Didn't you see this?" I said, "I'm just oblivious. I'm just barely hanging on to get around the house." And a couple of things came to mind about that. Is number one, like I said, we choose, and it's up to each individual, as to what you're going to attempt to do and what price you're willing to pay. But here's where it gets really kind of ugly sometimes, is there are people that will see you when you are either pushing it or on your best days, and they will make nasty assumptions. They will doubt you. For instance, if you can go play a poker tournament for 5 hours, how come you can't work? Or I saw you at the mall, or I saw you at the grocery store, or I saw you at a movie. You must not be that messed up. People tend to be judgmental. There's plenty of haters out there. And I really guess you have to learn to just kind of shrug it off. You can't educate people who are going to be willfully ignorant, and there's not much you can do about that. You really have to learn to let it just kind of bounce off you. You have Obviously, I've discussed many times that chronic pain is one of those things. It's like the birth of a child, the death of a parent, a divorce, a marriage. Until you go through it, you really don't understand. So your loved ones and other people really don't fully comprehend what it's like, and they can't understand. But if you're going to let the haters upset you, and let it bother you and discourage you from going out and having as much of a life as you can, it tends to lead to isolation, which leads to depression, which leads to other bad consequences. So it really is a delicate balance of what you want to choose to do, what you are willing to put up with for the consequences for what you do, and these, quite frankly, assholes who seem to make it their business to try and make you feel guilty for having some type of quality of life. Um, so I don't have a bumper prepared today. I'm not going to be on very long today, and I apologize for not being better prepared. But with having my friend come into town and the weather doing what it's doing here, I don't have the stamina today to do a lot. So once again, I'm doing this show knowing that I'm going to suffer for it for the next several hours, because I've already spent probably 30 minutes in the chair here trying to get my setup going for today. Um, it could only get better in time, right? It looks like I've got a couple of watchers. If anybody wants to give me a thumbs up or say hey in the chat so I can see uh, whether it's coming through, is my sound and video okay? Um, that would be beneficial. So, like I said, I don't have a lot prepared today. If I don't get some questions or comments over there, that's okay. I just want to let you know, as you can see from the little ticker I made, you can email me at josephofborg@gmail.com. You can call in live during the show, but I know most people are not going to be up at this hour and they're going to catch it on replay. Um, so I really don't have too much else on my mind or to address with you guys today. So I'm going to just tell you I've also got pages for spinal cord stimulator success stories is the name of one of my pages. If you have or are considering getting a spinal cord stimulator, I would encourage you to check that out. Hang on, I've got a call coming in. Let me try and answer this. Oh, they went away. Hey, caller, please call back in. Feel free to give me a call back because I'm here. I'll be here for a few minutes now that I actually had somebody ring my phone. Um, so yeah, like I said, it's a lot of us suffer a lot of emotional drama and trauma from people judging and talking about what we should and shouldn't do, and they see us on our best days and judge that as being our normal day. Oh, caller's coming in. Hang on. Hi, you should be on the air with Joseph of Borg. Good morning. Caller, are you there? Hey, caller, can you turn off your feed because I'm hearing myself. Hey, who's this? Hey, Captain Rich, how are you doing this morning? And some days I'm gonna be real with you. Some days that's all we got, and some days that alone is a challenge. So, but I want to compliment you. You are my first live call in on the call in show. So I want to thank you for taking the time to call. First off, I'm not sure if everybody can hear you through the system because I'm not a tech master. But he said he's alive, and obviously some days that alone is a challenge. So, did you have a question or comment for me this morning? You know, I read a bit about ketamine and I am not much of an authority on it. Do you know a bit about it or are you seeking information? Really? Well, then I tell you what, you are somebody I definitely would love to talk to, and I don't have the stamina to be on as long today as I'm sure uh, for the amount of information I'm sure you have to share. Um, Let me ask you this. Would you be willing to do like a Zoom phone call with me one day and you could give me all the information you have and I could edit it down for a special episode? Is that something you would be willing to do with me? Okay. Yeah, I have arachnoiditis. So I talk to a lot of people in the arachnoiditis pages who are on doses of that. I have not had any experience with it. So you are definitely somebody I want to talk to. So let me take your number. And do you have an email you could send me at josephofborg@gmail.com so I can we could maybe set up a time to do that because I would definitely like to pick your brain. Okay. Well, hey, thanks so much for calling in. I wish I could cover it, but I know there's a lot of information about that just from the research I've done, and I don't want to do it today and not do it justice, and I hope you understand that. Okay. Well, hey, thank you so much for calling in, and I'm going to let you go. And do email me, and I will be in touch, and we will get that put together. Yeah, I kind of screwed up my transporter this morning, but hey, it's a one-man show. You get what you got. I always tell people it's at least worth the price of admission, right? Since I do this show every week for free. So, hey, thanks again for calling, man, and I will look forward to talking with you about that this week. All right. Yep. Bye-bye. Well, hey, I really feel I really thank him for calling in, and that is a topic that I've definitely been wanting to speak with somebody about, um, because I know it helps an awful lot of people, and it's something that a lot of people don't really know much about. So, that said, my back is telling me my time here is about done. So before I go, I do want to mention I've got pages called Spinal Cord Stimulator Success Stories for those who are looking into that. I have another page, and again, these are all on Facebook and YouTube, so whichever format you use, you can find the information, called Surfing the Pain. And of course, this is the Chronic Pain Call-In Show. Um, I also have a page called Joseph of Borg for everything not pain related that I choose to put up, but quite frankly, it's just kind of a, I hate to use the term fan page, I guess an interaction page for my pen name, Joseph of Borg. So with that, I'm going to get off here for the day. I want to thank each and every one of you who tune in, listen, watch this. Leave me a message, a comment, a question. Um, I've made it as easy as possible for you to contact me. If you want to call at a time when I'm not on live, you can also leave a voicemail at that same number up there. So, um, again, sorry that the show's kind of ragged and I don't have more to give you today, but I did want to come on and do a show after I missed it last week for pretty much the same reason. A friend was in town and they needed a ride from Las Vegas down to Lake Havasu to look at a vehicle they wanted to buy, and just riding in the car last week absolutely put me under the weather. Again, it's a matter of surfing the pain and being willing to suffer to be involved in life. So, uh, I think I'm going to do a show also about physical therapy and how that relates, because you have to, whenever you start working out, there's a certain amount of discomfort. And when you're a chronic pain patient, balancing how much you're going to do activity wise to help maintain your function versus how much pain you're willing to take, because we are generally caught between a rock and a hard place. Either you don't do anything trying to avoid the pain and then you lose function, or you do stuff and you drive your pain higher. So, anyway, I'm not going to ramble on anymore because I find myself starting to lose my train of thought due to my pain level. I want to thank you again for spending your time. I respect your time, and I try and provide you guys quality content and information. Joseph of Borg, I'm out of here.